Hello, everyone. Welcome to Football-Oranje, your home of Dutch football in the English language. I'm Michael Statham, and tonight I'm by myself. So I'm looking forward to your company in the comment section, whether you're live or whether you're commenting a day or so after. Let us know what you thought of Netherlands 3, Wales 2, the last of 4 Nations League games at the end of this season. And of course, much more to come from Football-Oranje in the coming months. But this is the end of those 4 games for the Netherlands in this international break. So I'd like to know this evening, what did you make of the game this evening? Did you enjoy it? That late goal for Memphis? Which player stood out for you? And I'm going to be showing on the screen shortly the squad that was selected by Van Gaal for this international break. And I would like to know which players from the squad would you like to keep in the squad, and which ones would you want to exchange for some others? Which did you learn about in this international break where you wanted to keep them in the squad, and which ones would you want to change now that you've seen them in action? We've seen the likes of Vincent Janssen, Jordan Taser around the edges of a squad, Noah Lang. Did they impress you? Let us know in the comments, whether you're watching live or whether you're not. So let's get up some comments then, shall we? I asked everyone what they thought of the game, and some of the early ones that came in. LBN's a kid. Hapo and Lang made a very strong case why they should be on the roster. Taser made his case why he's not ready. So that already answers the question there. Thanks for your response. Hapo and Lang making a strong case to be in the squad. Did everyone else agree? Hapo had a much more lively game tonight, didn't he? And Noah Lang, I wouldn't say stole the show, but was very impressive in many instances. He scored a great goal, didn't he? So I think he's a great option off the bench now, isn't he? For Van Gaal. And he lived up to this reputation he gave himself when he spoke in Belgium. Saeed said Malacia should not be starting in the team because he can be clumsy. Bruno Martins Indy should be ousted. Also, Hapo wasted too many chances. I know he's better than this. So you guys were answering my question before we even started. And if you would like to get involved, please do in the comments and I'll get down to you. Rastam says that I thought Janssen had a good game up front. His link-up play helped to put Hapo and Langford in dangerous positions. It may actually be worth calling him up again and considering him for the World Cup. Interesting opinion there. Vincent Janssen doing enough for you there. So he says, Depay does too many extra unnecessary moves. Just shoot or cross. He keeps showing off his skills, which at the end wastes the ball and loses it. Seems we'll never learn. Memphis, though, becoming the second highest top goal scorer for Netherlands this evening with that late goal. And it was a nice moment, wasn't it? That we thought that Bale's penalty had pegged us back and that winning goal was very sweet. But a counter comment to what I said about Memphis. I'm happy with Depay's goal scoring, but I think the side could use a centre forward with soft feet that lays off the ball well because the team has too many players that want the glory of scoring. Rastam, it sounds like you're quoting Van Gaal there, who claims some players have hard feet. Well, does Memphis have those really soft feet to kind of lay balls off? I think it does. I think him and another striker up top would be great news. Chris Tubb 1. This offence looks so shaky without Van Dijk. And I also think the international break showed us what the midfield would be like without Frenkie de Jong and just what he offers as well. Though I did think that De Vrij stood out in this international break. He was all right, wasn't he? De Ligt had a couple of moments where he wasn't fully convincing. I don't know if anyone else agrees with me about De Ligt. He was captain this evening. Very good defender, but is he as strong as Van Dijk? No. Let's get up Jason's comment. The left side has a lot to prove. I think they played very well. Martins Indy, Malacia and Lang all making it hard for Van Gaal to not pick them this winter. Tay's not good enough. Interesting. Malacia, did he do enough for other people to be included? I'm looking forward to scrolling down and seeing your comments as to who you keep in the squad, who you take out. Malacia, for me, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. But then what are the other options? Blint, who has given some assists in his international break, but doesn't do enough defensively. Malacia might be the better option though still. What about Coat Miners? I can't work out if he's doing his job quietly in midfield or going missing for large swathes of the match, only to pop up with the occasional amazing defence splitting pass, or that goal against Wales, which was also important. I like Coat Miners and think he should definitely be in the squad come the World Cup if he can continue at club level. Him next to Young seemed to work an absolute treat, didn't it, at one point? Matt says, I honestly thought it was nice having Martins Indy back in the squad, even though he definitely should not be starting. I was really proud of his team. Yeah, lots to be pleased about in this international break. I hope other people agree. These 4 games have been a decent watch. Lots of goals. And whilst the away game in Wales, it was not fortunate a late winner, but it was a scraped win, wasn't it? It wasn't the 18 that played. Just like this evening, several players were not starting, but we got to learn players who were on the outskirts who were going to try and force themselves into the team. Interesting viewing, wasn't it? And Martins Indy, I actually think Matt, yeah, he had a good game at club level for RZ. I don't think he's been that great. I've been watching RZ a fair bit this season, and mistakes aplenty. To be selected for the international squad, I feel like you've got to be a high standard, Martins Indy, but didn't disgrace himself this evening at all. Sador said, I wish that we had drawn just so the players can learn from being sloppy after being 2-0 up and drawing thereafter. We seem to never learn how to be focused and take each moment seriously. I think going 2-0 up was a good place for the Netherlands to be. Wales got back into the game, and then it was as though that I don't want to blame it just on tiredness. I think it's an excuse. However, it has been a long season. Were the Netherlands as sharp as they could have been tonight? No. But the lesson hopefully was learned against Poland that they cannot just relax in an international game and expect to get away with it against decent opposition. And Wales punished the Netherlands tonight. I don't know if anyone want to drop in their thoughts on the penalty, by the way. Did you think it was Malacia fouling the Wales player? A comment about Frankie de Jong. Hope he goes to Man United, links up with Donny van de Beek. I think those two could anchor midfield. Frankie de Jong at Man United, I'd love to see de Jong in England and to see whether he succeed, that's for sure. Dan says, should De Ligt be part of the first team looking at our 3 centre-backs? I think yes. I think that he is still amongst his 3 best centre-backs in the side, and if you play 2, you want to have Van Dijk and De Vrij for me, but playing 3 does allow De Ligt to play. Why not? Is he too error prone for other people to be in? Should Ake be in there instead after his performance against Belgium? Let's have a look at some of the comments. Michael says Taser was Wales' best player. Not a good performance from him again tonight. I wonder if Wales need to pick on him or something. But then that was an unforced error, wasn't it, for the first Wales goal? Yeah, Taser was a walking red card in the away match against Wales. Booked so early, he didn't need to pull the player down. He didn't do much to convince. I wonder whether Van Gaal brought him off at half time because he wasn't best pleased with Taser. Jason says, my favourite thing about these 4 games was that Van Gaal tried a lot of different things. He didn't just run out what he expects to be the starting 11. It's very important. Yeah, I was interested with that as well. Krish says, Lang was very lively as well as Hapo. They bring a good option. Lang and Hapo seem to have good games tonight, didn't they? Thanks for your comment. Dara says, I would love to see Hamburg back in when he's fit, possibly some under 21s like Botman. Botman, yeah, I can see him being on the periphery of the team. Is he better than Martin Dindy? Probably, yeah. Playing for a better side as well, really. Hamburg, not sure. I think he's dividing opinion, isn't he, online about whether he's got the right attitude or not. And I'm not going to sit on one side of the fence or the other because I don't know Hamburg. People, I think, get a vibe, don't they, watching on the football pitch. He needs to probably pull up his socks a bit more to get into this international side. And he will need to play games at Bayern to get into the team too. I know that Van Gaal has gone back on his logic, hasn't he, about having to have players that are playing every single game at club level. But he said that he's kind of been proven wrong with a player like Bergwijn. But I don't see Havenberg getting into the side if he's not playing for Bayern. Rob says, I'd like to see Baka get a chance instead of Malacia and Botman over Taser. Well, Rob, I watched Baka in the Netherlands under 21s the other day when they were in Wales. Did some media stuff for Football-Oranje. If you haven't checked it out already, go and check out our interview with Louis van Gaal on our YouTube channel. Go and check out our YouTube interview as well with Owen van der Looy. And van der Looy says that the door is not closed for some of the younger players. That if they can prove themselves in those 21 games, Van Gaal will have a look and he will select them. They don't need to have these June games as ways to prove themselves. They can be chucked in last minute, and that's fine for Van Gaal, he said. And Baka in that game, I thought stood out at left wing back. It was more like a back 4, but Baka was getting so far at the pitch, and so was Wrench. I also think Wrench is a good option at this point as backup to Dumfries, given what we've seen from Hartlepool in this break. Not great. Baka could be an option. I hope that he can get some games at club level though, to prove that he's ready for senior action rather than just proving it against Wales' under 21s. Kristen says, I thought De Ligt played a decent game. Thanks for your comment. Do more people agree? Dara says, could we see Frimpong? I think we're more likely to see Wrench play, to be honest, given what he's done for the 21s. And your other comment was, can Vindal be at left back? I think there are some people that are commenting on live watching that would say that they would pick Vindal over Malacia and Blint possibly. Vindal has potential. Has he been at his best this season? No. But have RZ in general been at his best this season? No. So he does stand out in this RZ team. But I think if he gets to move to a place like Ajax or goes abroad, it could be a wise move for him to prove that he's proven himself other than a place other than RZ, and a place where he can test himself defensively as well. He's great offensively, isn't he, Vindal? But didn't prove that in the Euros back in this last year. Hessian says Vincent Janssen was so poor he should have never played for the Netherlands. So a complete contradictory comment to what somebody else has said here. Does Janssen divide the crowd? Let us know in the comments. Could Juni Wijnaldum come back and add some power to midfield with De Jong? The door isn't closed to Wijnaldum, is it? But I think that the midfield has been more interesting without him, and it's be good to see some different options. And even I could see the value in David Klaassen starting against Belgium. He can be useful at times. I think having some different options to number 10, not having a guaranteed number 10, might keep players on their toes. Let's see what some more of you have said then. I'm going to find some people who haven't commented at all so far to put them on screen. Thanks to all the comments we've had. Storm Shadow. I think the only player that did enough was Hapo. He has done more than Berghuis for me. Lang was a lively but selfish and little end product, but did score a goal, to be fair, Storm Shadow. Big difference when Memphis and Steven Bergwijn came on. Agreed. They were both great off the bench. Now, I know this guy's already commented already, Ras Dam, but I wanted to get this one about Malacia. He didn't do enough for me, offered no security in defence or threat going forward. What did he speed off for us today? What Blint doesn't do well consistently. So we've got someone in the Blint camp here. Wow, there's no answer to these players. So opinionated. In fact, a comment about Ake. Thanks for your comment about the penalty. Thought it was a soft penalty. Livery says, don't agree on De Ligt in a back three. Just don't feel confident with him. Looks like he's always got a clumsy mistake in him. Wow. De Vrij, Virgil van Dijk, and Ake for you. Fair enough. Patrick, was Hapo man of the match? Good question. Not a standout one for me this evening. Not one that jumped out that was a certain man of the match, but a much improved performance from Hapo tonight for me. I agree. He was good, wasn't he? Mark says, if we ever switch to a 4-3-3, Lang for sure starts. Yeah, having the wingers, Lang looks dangerous and a good option for that. I also think Hapo in a 4-3-3 will be useful. But Van Gaal spoke about in a 4-3-3, he would have Memphis out on the left wing because of the work he can do with getting on his right foot and putting a cross in, were his words. Dave says, good to see Koopman is finally getting more of a go. And did he live up to it, the expectations for you, Dave? We had someone in the comments that didn't think Koopman was that great. Dave also says, hope Boadu moves somewhere where he'll play consistently. I agree. Let's get up this comment here about Vindal and Karsdorp. Thanks all for your comments, by the way. This comment section's very lively this evening. If you're not watching live, drop a comment down below and we will get back to you. I will reply. Vindal and Karsdorp should be given another try, and Geertruida Botman should be in the next squad. Yeah, Geertruida, I think, should be a centre-back option for the next squad. I thought Janssen had a good silent game, but for a fringe player, you must score when given a golden chance. Fair enough. Jason, if Vindal goes to Ajax and plays regularly, could be the best option. Maybe be selected in September to see. Yeah, good shout. Kristen says, what do you think about Frimpong? Well, since you asked about Frimpong, a good option and one that I'd like to see in the squad that would given a chance, a bit like Taser's been given a chance, Lang's been given a chance. Has a ship sailed and was this his chance? Not necessarily. September does offer an opportunity, and I think there's a few other options now that are better than Hartlepool. I hope Van Gaal's realised this. Hartlepool seems to never win a header, and he just loses his man, doesn't he, when a cross comes to the back post. Against Wales, he missed out on 3 headers. I counted them, and one of them led to a goal. He just lost that header so softly and lost his man. Rouse says that Frankie de Jong was his man of the match. AJ Nix, Dutch are explosive going forward. They've scored so many goals, haven't they, in this international break? Fun to watch. You know that they've always got a goal in them trying to come forward. Mike says, we know how to score in the last 2 minutes of the game. Yeah, we do indeed. Always useful in World Cup situations. Thanks for your comments. If you've got any more to drop in, please do. But I'm now going to share the screen and show you the squad. Here it is. I'm now really small on the screen, tiny little head. And I'm also joined by lots of other little tiny heads of the squad. So who for you guys is going to be dropped out of that squad, and who comes in for you? Do you think Mike, the founder of Football-Oranje, gets his way and Joey Veerman comes in for creative midfielder? Is there a place for him now? And, Chris just put a comment on as well saying, where does Danjuma fit into this team when he's back? Does he come in for you, Chris? Let us know in the comments. I think Danjuma, he has proven in games previously that he has that potential, doesn't he, at international level, and he can be another kind of explosive, pacey forward that could do something different. A Van Gaal kind of forward, I guess, where he can play across the front and play with Memphis up top. Patrick says, no, not Veerman. And I'm not sure where he fits either, to be honest. At PSV, he's going to have to be the main man there to get back into the squad, or get in the squad in the first place. Marcus says, Bilo in. I agree with you. He's got to be one of the main ones coming in, hasn't he? He could be the #1 goalkeeper for the World Cup. I really hope he gets fit and gets playing every game for Feyenoord and stands out just like he did last season. Dara thinks that Teza and Hartlepool go for sure, and I agree with you. It's time for them to go, isn't it? And we've got some other options we can bring in, and we've mentioned them already on the show. And a better goalkeeper option needed, but I think that's Bilo, isn't it? AJ Nix, time for Memphis to play the attacking midfield role with Gakpo or Lang as a winger, with Bergwijn to go back to a 4-3-3 with AJ Nix. Wouldn't you have Memphis and another striker? So, or Memphis, if you play behind 2 strikers, I don't think Gakpo and Lang would work in essential roles. But someone like Janssen, a kind of striker that Van Gaal likes, that could work. I just wonder though, if he were to play Memphis as a 10, wouldn't that have happened by now? And I also think you saw his predatory instinct tonight, scoring that winning goal against Wales. That's why I want to keep him as a striker, and I find him useful there. And even though he has quite a lot of tricks and flicks, he's still a great player to have around. And Christian says Danjuma's got to get in, but Bilo's overrated. Wow. And maybe doesn't deserve to be in the squad. Let's get this comment up. Dominance over Belgium. Gets overjoyed. Then play down to the opposition. I hope the approach of the World Cup games is if they were knockout games against top flight teams. Let's see. Would love Donny to thrive into Ten Hag and get back into the squad. The 10 role could work for a peak Donny van der Beek, couldn't it? I agree with you. Patrick says, if you could bring in only one, would you bring in Weghorst or Luke de Jong? And I'm going to say Weghorst. He offers more with his feet, doesn't he? Luke de Jong is quite one-dimensional and being a pinch hitter. Whereas Weghorst, even though he's not known for like loads of headers, he's sort of cracking one against Wales. Rob says, how long until Memphis breaks Robin van Persie's scoring records? Could he get 60 goals? Could it happen by the World Cup? Or am I being too ambitious? It could be next year though, couldn't it? Moving to the Premiership didn't help Veltman, Van der Beek, or Klaassen get back into the national team. Aren't you worried that about any of our key players getting a bad move this summer? Yeah, a lot of them have gone to Van Gaal for advice, and I wonder whether Van Gaal's given some wise advice. He seems like a really caring person, doesn't he, Van Gaal? That he will talk to his players and help them get their best move. I wonder whether he's told Bergwijn to just go and play every week, because even though he's been selected because of his previous Netherlands performances, he needs to play, doesn't he? Who would I be worried about? I'd be most worried about Gakpo, I think. Playing at PSV and continuing to impress in Europe might give him the confidence and the game time. But if he all of a sudden goes to, I'm going to make it up, Arsenal, and he sits on the bench, he's got no chance of making it into the squad. And as for Veltman, he's on the periphery, isn't he, of getting in, and has played well for Brighton. But I don't know how many people here honestly ever really enjoyed having Veltman play for the Netherlands. He's a good player. He's in his own right, but is he international standard? AJ likes Beckhorst as a striker. I was like, yeah, let's keep him in then. Very different to Memphis, though, of course. Let's see what move he gets this summer, and hopefully it's not just an easy one out to Turkey. Dan thinks there's great depth in the squad, and it feels like it. It feels very competitive. Alan says, would you keep calling Daley Blind after the World Cup? I don't think he's going to be dropped for this World Cup, is he? Yeah, maybe after the World Cup he begins to wind down a little bit. It's good that he still wants to play and he offers so much going forward, but defensively he's just suspect, isn't he? Mark says, does Janssen have a chance? Did he prove it tonight? I'm not sure. Maybe he'll get some more chances in September, but he really has to take it with a scruff of the neck. Van Gaal obviously likes him though, and what he can offer. Dara says, currently reading Jurgen Klaus' book, and he reckons that the talent in the Netherlands has dropped. And I think so too. Gone are the days of Van Persie, Robin, Schneider, sadly. Hope they surprised me. Yeah, we had quite a few brilliant players at that time, didn't we? And how we'd love to have one or two of them right now. Rob says, respect to Janssen's effort today, but not good enough. So we seem to be pretty comprehensive, I think, on the players to come out of the squad. But we disagree in the comments who should come in. But Van Gaal is probably going to give a couple more players a chance. He's not going to keep this squad the same, is he? He's got to have learned from this international break what happens. Russ actually has just come back to the comment from Dara, says that I think Frankie's a more talented player than Schneider. And I actually agree with you. That's a great comment. Frankie's the youngest, a mercurial talent, once in a generation, isn't he? So good. And we can forget that so easily sometimes. Thanks everyone for your comments. And do drop them down below if you're not watching live. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoy these live streams, do give it a like, support our channel, support our website, football-oranje.com. Much more to come from us, obviously, about Dutch football coming up soon. There's stuff on the website in the aftermath of these games. We may even do a podcast in the coming days, week, to do with the games. I hopefully will have up an interview with Kenneth Taylor, the Ajax midfielder, coming up very soon. It's a very short one. I haven't got it edited yet. I've been very busy with my normal job. But there is an interview up with Owen van der Looy and Louis van Gaal on the YouTube channel if you want to watch them from my trips to Wales. Much more from us soon. I hope you all have a great summer, by the way, if we don't see you soon. And there are obviously Nations League games in September. There are loads of build-up for the new Eredivisie season as well, coming in the next few weeks and months. So stay tuned to Football-Oranje. Give us a like and subscribe to Football-Oranje if you're new. And thanks, everyone, for dropping your thanks in the comments. Thank you to you for watching. Thank you for being interested and listening to me for 23 minutes. My day job as a teacher. I've been talking like kids all day. Now I've got to talk to you for 23 minutes. I feel a bit exhausted now. But thanks everyone for joining me. And yeah, catch you soon. Drop a comment down below.